Hello, Internet. It is time for another Wednesday's cereal. No hat today because it's hot as balls. So I'm up for a third annual Geeky Award thing as for best comic vlogger sort of deal. If you would be so kind as to go to the video that I'm going to link to below and just put in that you're voting for Wednesday's cereal. That would be great. Maybe I can win this thing. It's weird because I'm up against people like Grace Randolph and others who are actually professional people who get paid to do this, so that's weird. And they also have like production value and crap, and I don't. So there you go. But I'd appreciate the vote. And yeah, to the comics. So first up is True Revival or Revival True, depending on how you look at it. Now I'm approaching this from more the true angles. That's the only book of the two that I read. And coming in on this revival is really interesting. It actually kind of hooked me. It makes me want to read the Revival series, as a lot of people have recommended to me. So that, it's just helped me along. But this does a good job of introducing, setting it up, and vice versa. So if you're unfamiliar, you could totally pick this book to check out either or both books. So I think that's really cool. And it's $5, but it is really two comics. It is a flip book. They do a good job. They let both teams kind of do their own issue, and then it just kind of is there. So there's not really a timing or anything. It doesn't really necessarily take place at any time, so you don't have to worry about it. And there's a lot of cool stuff there. There's also a really cool part at the start of the Revival one where there's a small kid who's drawing, and then there's a little thing between Poyo and Lion Cat, and they're saying, well, this crossover doesn't make sense because of whatever, and they're like, whatever, it's comics and it's cool, it's fun, and that's the point. And it's just, that was a nice little touch in there. And I will say, even having that was huge, because a huge part of the reason I didn't want to read Revival is because Tim Seeley did a lot of hack slash, which I've tried reading and just couldn't really get into, and so I imagine this wouldn't be so much up my alley. But it seems like the writing that he does on this is more engaging, so that's cool. Also, seeing some of the Chew characters drawn in Revival, or really it is just Chew, is so interesting because it's a lot more of a in-depth, detailed look and less of a cartoon drawn sort of look. And it just is interesting to think of that, because suddenly you see Chew in this whole different tone, and it creates it. And it really makes me appreciate what Rob Guillory does for Chew, because that brings a lot of humor and fun and a lot of comic bookiness to the book, if you will. And for that, that's a huge part of what really draws me to Chew. And I realize if it was almost any other artist doing pretty much what you'd see in any other comic on Chew, it would not be the comic that has hooked me, and I don't know if I would have stuck with it or not, because it would have just felt kind of ridiculous and not kind of had a style that made everything fit. So pretty cool stuff, and I thought that was a great way to start off the week. Diddly Class issue 5. Things just kinda happen. Don't do drugs, and don't write like you're on drugs unless there's something there, or you're doing Bat Freddy's Cat. I don't know, this is just Deadpool 29, between the art, the use of vampires, and just the general of this issue, I might drop Deadpool. Yeah, we'll see. Futures End number 4, and we continue the slow burn intro, but it's still really engaging. We're seeing a lot of elements of the DC universe come together, and what's fascinating about this, like Beternal is as well, is this idea of all these things are happening, and partially they're connected just by the timing, but of course it seems like there's other things at play, but all these disparaging stories and characters and frankly different ideas behind them seem to slowly be moving together. And I'm excited, but we're 4 issues in, and I'm kind of hoping we get at least a little bit of a connection and something moving, because we're if we keep going at this rate, it'll be a little too slow. But I have a feeling things will explode here quickly. And with Paternal, we're back on the main storyline. I'm thinking between the main Batman thing with the cops and Falcone and Stephanie Brown, I'm really hoping we stay with this for a while. Because whereas the other issues were fun, we're at a point here where there was kind of a stopping point, but Stephanie in particular needs to be addressed kind of sooner than later, because it already feels like with the lag of time in between, like, it's all been one night for her, but it's getting stretched out a little long to the point where with the amount of events happening, that's getting kind of shaky for this, and because timing is going to kind of be something you have to let loose, but as much as they can tie it in, I feel like that's an element that shouldn't be left behind. So I'm really hoping they get to a certain point with her soon. But overall, yeah, this is a fun issue and still best Bat book. And Batman, Zero Year, the final act, and there's 2 more friggin' issues. It's fun, but this comic is really one long scene. It could have been cut down so easily. This is 5 pages of a normal Batman comic. Like, woof. That's a bit much. So that was my comics for the week. I tried to burn through them quick because I didn't have a lot to say this week because it was a lot of... but I am going to be doing the first installment of the comic book community review on Hush. That is to be posted June 2nd, which means I should actually do that now. I've been prepping, but I haven't actually shot. So, yeah. Check that out and watch everyone else. Running with Comics put together an awesome group of people, and I'm really looking forward to it. We seem to do this roughly once a year, and I think it's one of the best things about the whole community that we actually get together and do that. Also, as far as community projects, I put in my words for the frames for Greco Fabulous's silent issue of Batman and Robin with the whole Requiem thing. I'm going to be presumably seeing how that comes out, and I'll let you know. But that was really fun to do, and that's really awesome of him to do something so freaking creative. So, yeah. And, maybe I should get off my ass and figure out something for a community thing. But with so many people doing so many awesome things, I think mine would just get lost in the dust right now. So, cheers!